Oh, hi everyone. Let me use a couple minutes to introduce the poster. We will publish it about this coming Friday. This coming Friday. Okay. And for example, uh, please take a look at this. It's a research about sanitizing. Sanitizing means to kill bacteria, kill microorganisms on the surface of the apple. And here is the manuscript, or we call it draft, in the beginning. And sure, we communication with our language here. Okay. Then you can see this. You can see this our manuscript here, and close to the finalization, the finalize here, here. Here is this page is the manuscript, and this, and this, and please watch the style, and next one here. How do you feel? This one and this one. Why? You like the background with the dark color or the light color? Clear? This one is clear. And this one is, oh, it's too dark. Or the style? Okay. And personally, we can change background and something here. But let me explain. And I highly encourage you to do the poster research about the academics, about the business, about for example, my background is food science and nutrition. And see, what are these? The fruit, the apples. The apples, because the apples, when the apple become juice, apple juice pure, without any addition of water or additives. But the bacteria is a problem, the microorganism is a problem. Thus, we use different sanitizer. This one is chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide. This one is sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite. You know, in the beginning, the third day when I arrived in the U.S., I don't know how to say the term. I just said, I want to buy a kind of detergent. The main component is sodium hypochlorite. But the clerk look at me. I know he is very friendly. He said, "Do you mean bleach?" Oh yeah, you're right, bleach. I didn't know the term. Bleach, bleach. You know the bleach is very common in to clean your clothes, right? I didn't know the term. Then I learned the term. The main component is sodium hypochlorite. Okay, so that is very useful to kill bacteria in our clothes or on the fruit or vegetables. We did this research for several months, and we published the result here. Thus, I encourage everyone, if you have chance, ask any professor. Hi professor, $1. Hi professor, $2. I want to do the research with you, something like this. And in the end, you have a kind of publication. For example, the poster, or a book, or an abstract in an annual meeting. That will be good after when you are apply for the graduate schools. So I encourage you to do this. And our partners, we collaborate with this company. And because of the second order, Miss Yang prepared 3 posters in this month. So I encourage you to do this. Okay, let's go back. And anyone do the ideas here? Oh, okay. How about a few minutes and I'm going to the textbook. Okay. Again, today's topic is about please search the advertisement or the product. They emphasize the benefit of the mineral in their product. That is an easy topic. Okay, let's go back to. By the way, okay, here. Yesterday, I had a 2-mile run for 7 minutes and 2 seconds, and it fits the criteria of U.S. military. Actually, my age, I don't want to share my age. It's embarrassing. But I just let you know, my exercise, my sport, my running is okay and fit the criteria of U.S. military. Yesterday. And I was running in a 300-meter playground. The yard is 300 meters. And I ran 11 laps. After the calculation, the 2 miles is about 3,218 meters. After the proportion, I got the time is 17 minutes and 2 seconds. Thus, I encourage you, if you want to do something different, you can follow my steps to exercise like this. Actually, in the next few weeks, I will share the information about exercise and your health. That is one of our topic. Okay, and okay, let's go back here. And about the calcium, sorry. Generally, it's okay, but when the calcium concentration in your blood is going low, you will release a signal SOS. We need help. And the parathyroid, the hormone, will release to our kidney and our bone, and to our bones stimulates the release of calcium from the bone. It's okay because the bone is a kind of a storage place, like a warehouse to keep the calcium, and to our kidneys, activation of vitamin D, reduce the calcium dose in urine. It's kind of signal. It's a regulation. Regulation has 2 meanings. The first is about law. Regulation is to control, to regulate. And after this kind of behavior, the concentration of calcium in our blood will go back to the normal level. So it's kind of we call it feedback regulation. But the most important thing is your storage, your bank deposit, your warehouse inventory should have enough calcium. And other health benefit of calcium in our body, for example, cancer. The National Cancer Institute reports that there is enough scientific evidence to conclude that higher intakes of calcium decrease colon cancer risk. Again, higher intakes of calcium decrease the colon cancer risk and may suppress the growth of polyps that often participate cancer. Okay, so the higher intake of calcium will help us prevent cancer. That is evidence-based. Although higher calcium consumption protects against colon cancer, some studies have looked at the relationship between calcium and prostate. Prostate, that there's a gland in man's body, but not in woman's body. Okay. The prostate cancer and found higher intakes may increase the risk of prostate cancer. Ooh, that's not good. That is not good. However, the data is inconsistent. Let me explain that. Because in scientific research, there are two parts. There are many theories. After research conducted in different labs, they always get the different results. For example, on one hand, the lab A did the research and their conclusion is more calcium can prevent some disease or cancers. But similar research results conducted by the lab B, the conclusion could be completely different, can be the opposite. That is normal. Remember, that is normal. For example, if I say one sentence, if I say the temperature of our Earth is increasing, I think this year, this moment, nobody will object it. Everyone will say, okay, I agree with that because the temperature is rising of our Earth. But in the 1970s, there are two theories, and in the end, the science of the Ice Age won the game. In the 1970s, most of the scientists believed that the temperature of our Earth is going low. Was going low. But today, about the year of 2000, 2010, 2020, the theory changes. The theory becomes the temperature is going high. I know it's very strange to everyone because the theory is always changing. And however, the data is inconsistent, and more studies are needed to confirm any negative association. That is normal. In science, remember, there are many labs doing different things, maybe similar, maybe different, but their conclusion could be completely different. And here is one of the theory. Okay, and calcium is also good to blood pressure. Multiple studies provide clear evidence that higher calcium consumption reduces blood pressure. A review of 23 observed studies concluded that for every 1 milligrams of calcium consumed daily, systolic blood pressure, I don't know how to explain it in English, there are two kinds of blood pressure. One is higher, one is lower. And systolic pressure is constrained. It's reduced about 0.34 millimeters of mercury. And diastolic blood pressure is decreased by 0.15 mmHg. We call it milliliter of mercury. Okay, so it's evidence-based. More calcium will lower your blood pressure. and cardiovascular health. There is emerging evidence that higher calcium intake prevent against other risk factors for cardio and vascular disease, such as higher cholesterol and obesity. Actually, about the cholesterol in our body, the theory can be a little bit different. During the 1960s, 70s, 80s, people always think about the cholesterol in food like evil. But about the dietary guideline published by USDA in 2015, and in Taiwan it is about 2018. The kind of guideline remove the restriction from the food, the cholesterol from the food, because not enough evidence to show the cholesterol in food will cause the dangerous situation for human. Actually, we have been fooled for more than 50 years about the wrong theory. But the scientific evidence is weak or inconclusive. And kidney stones, another health benefit of a high calcium diet, that it blocks kidney stone formation. It means more calcium intake will lower the kidney stone formation. Calcium inhibits the absorption of oxalate. Oxalate is a chemical compound, and it can form the insoluble minerals like a stone. So we call it oxalate, for example, calcium oxalate. And some vegetables has a lot of oxalate, for example, spinach. So there is a fake news, a fake information. After you finish eating the spinach, you need to prevent to eat tofu, because tofu has a lot of calcium. The calcium with the oxalate in the spinach will combine together and form insoluble stone in your body. But actually, the Food Administration approved that is disinformation. Okay. And that is a chemical in plants such as parsley, but parsley is not very popular in Taiwan, and spinach, which associate with increased risk of developing kidney stones. And that is a theory. And calcium protects effects on kidney stone formation occurs only when you obtain calcium from dietary sources. That is one thing. Okay, let's go to the next sentence. Calcium supplements may actually increase the risk for the kidney stone in some susceptible people. Okay, again, calcium supplement, what does it mean? The product, for example, vitamin pills, we call it calcium supplements. But here it says only from the dietary, for example, milk, sesame. For example, my mother is a vegetarian because my mother is a Buddhist, and she believed that more calcium from sesame is okay to the health, but for my mother also drink milk is okay, but for the calcium supplements, it may increase the risk about kidney stone. It's very strange. Okay. Okay. Let me take a break here. Let me check the response. Oh, so today no one want to share their ideas? No? Anyone? or the 2 marks is not fascinating to everyone. It's not attractive. It's up to you. It's up to you. Because I try to encourage everyone to say something during the class. Okay. Okay, let's go back. And another one is phosphorus. Like, take a look. Okay. Phosphorus is an element. You can find the element, the information from the periodic table. Phosphorus is present in our body as part of chemical groups called phosphate. Phosphate. Sorry, I cannot explain in English because it's very hard to explain because you need some basic background of chemistry. And those phosphate, the other form is phosphoric acid. Phosphate here. Phosphorus is an element. Phosphate is the chemical form in our body, in DNA, in our body, in the blood. Okay, are essential as a structural component of cell membranes, like phospholipid. Lipid is one term. Phosphor is the other term. It means the lipid has phosphorus. For example, the DNA has phosphate. RNA has phosphate. And the energy production, the compound is ATP. ATP is very common. For example, adenosine triphosphate is called ATP. And regulations of acid-base hemostasis. Hemostasis, it means to keep the concentration in a certain level, prevent increase or decrease significantly. Phosphorus, however, is mostly associated with the calcium as a part of the mineral structure of the bone and teeth. Okay, I think many people already know this. It's okay. And blood phosphorus level are not controlled as strictly as calcium to the PTH, stimulated renal excretion of phosphate that it does not accumulate to toxic level. So generally, we don't need to worry about the phosphate to a high level. Generally, and dietary reference intake is called the DRI or DRIS. It means the recommendation value to general people every day. In comparison to calcium, most Americans are not at risk for having a phosphate deficiency. Because last year we did a poster research, and then I found about 1/4 of the population in the US, in Canada, they don't have enough calcium. Then I was shocked by the information. But for phosphate deficiency, it's very rare. Phosphate is present in many foods popular in the American diets, including meat, fish, dairy products, processing foods, and beverage. But actually, there are many food additives has abundant of phosphate. Phosphate is added to many foods because it acts as an emulsifier agent. Emulsifying agent. What is emulsifying? For example, ice cream. Ice cream, there are two main components. One is water, one is milk. One is water, one is lipid. And emulsifying try to make the water soluble and fat soluble components mixed together. That is ice cream. That's called ice cream. And mayonnaise is also a typical example for the emulsifying effect. Mayonnaise has yolk from the egg, vinegar, sugar, that kind of compounds. And actually, some of them are water soluble, some of them are fat soluble. How to mix them together look like a perfect product? Use lecithin. Lecithin is an emulsifying agent. Okay, and prevent chopping, improves the texture and taste. The extension of shelf life is important. Shelf life is important because it may become spoilage. All the pathogen will grow. The average intake of phosphate in the US adults ranges between 1,000 and 1,500 milligrams per day. That is a recommendation value. Well above the RDA is 700 milligrams per day. The UL means upper limit. It means prevent to intake the phosphorus to this level. The level is 4,000 milligrams per day. 4,000 milligrams per day. But actually, I have no idea because in the US there are many foods from supermarket. For example, I drink a cup of Coca-Cola. I eat a piece of pizza. I eat fried chicken. I eat something. I may accumulate a lot of phosphorus. For adults and 3,000 milligrams per day for people over age 70. Okay, and here's the information about the dietary reference intake. It's a specific term to describe the amount recommended for human. And in Taiwan, we have our own DRIS. In the US, they have their own DRIS. Different age groups and different RDA and different upper limit. And here is good information about the dietary source of phosphorus. For example, salmon, yogurt, turkey, chicken, beef, lentils, and almond, mozzarella, something like this. But as I know, the phosphate is one of the common food additives used in our food processing. A food scientist officer ever suggested me to investigate something about the total phosphate we intake from the processing food. But actually, I'm afraid that in Taiwan we overtake the phosphorus. Okay, forget it. Okay, the mechanism. Okay, then next about the sulfur. Sulfur is incorporated into protein structure in the body. Sulfur, there are several forms in our body. For example, sulfate. For example, sulfuric acid or sodium sulfate is different. Maybe next time I can prepare some list. You can memorize those chemical terms. Sulfur is element. You can check it from the periodic table. And protein, there are basically 20 amino acids. They consist of proteins, and there are 2 amino acids with sulfur, this kind of element. The first one, cysteine. The second one, methionine. Those 2 amino acids with element of sulfur. Okay. Amino acids, methionine, and cysteine. This one is read as cysteine. contain sulfur are essential for the antioxidant enzyme. And this enzyme is called the glutathione peroxidase. Some vitamins like thiamine and biotin also contain sulfur, which are important in regulating acidity in our body. Sulfur is a major mineral with no recommendation intake or deficiency when protein needs are met. So no recommendation value. That's okay. Sulfur is mostly consumed as a part of dietary proteins and sulfur-containing vitamins. So generally, the disease caused by sulfur deficiency is less. It's very rare. Okay, and sulfur functional roles. Sulfur is the third most abundant mineral in our body after calcium and phosphorus. But it did not count the oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen. Thus, after the calcium and phosphorus, the sulfur is the third abundant mineral. That's okay. And sulfur is incorporated into protein structure in the body, such as keratin in hair. Keratin is a kind of protein in our body, in the hair, and provides stability to those protein structures. One of the key roles is the synthesis of 3-phosphate adenosine, 5-phosphorsulfate, PAPS. You don't need to remember those terms unless you study biochemistry, which is used in the biosynthesis of compounds essential in coagulating. This one is in our body, especially in the joints, in bones and cartilage, heparin and insulin. Additionally, sulfur is an important component of the antioxidant enzyme glutathione peroxidase. Cysteine and methionine are oxidized to sulfate and excreted to the urine. Okay. Or stored as glutathione. Actually, glutathione is some companies use this kind of material as a health food. They sell their health food, use this compound because they think about its health. It's good to human health. Okay, and dietary reference index for sulfur. Sulfur is a major mineral with no recommendation intake. Why? Let me check. Hey, okay. No one. That's okay. Let me finish it. Because when establishing the recommendation value, one key concept is the people in a country, according to the survey, according to the investigation. For example, in Taiwan, about 90 to 95% population do not have enough calcium. Thus, the Food and Health Administration established a guideline. The recommendation value of calcium is 1,000 milligrams per day. But for sulfur, very rare situation that people get sick or get some unhealthy state situation because they lacking enough sulfur. It's very rare. Thus the government did not set up the recommendation value. And current data is insufficient to establish a tolerable upper intake level. It's called UL. About the dietary source of sulfur. Dietary source mainly come from sulfur-containing amino acid like methionine. In the future, if you plan to study the biotechnology, I suggest to remember this term, methionine. Okay, sorry. Methionine. Methion means it's okay. Okay, forget it because it's very hard to explain in English. Sorry. And cysteine is also the essential amino acid in human. Some vitamins like thiamine and biotin contain sulfur, which are important to regulate acid in a body. Okay, sulfur can be obtained from sulfur-containing foods. That's okay, like garlic. Oh, I love garlic. And onion and cruciferous vegetables. Table water also supplies sulfur, but table water? Are you kidding me? But its concentration varies depending on the location. Dietary supplements such as chondroitin. Chondroitin, you can buy the product from the Costco. Chondroitin sulfate or glucosamine sulfate, commonly used to aid bone and joint health, also contains sulfur. And in the past, maybe 5 years ago, the health food in Taiwan, one of the major group is glucosamine. But some doctors said that is useless. But some doctors said it's really useful. I have no idea. And here is the information about the sulfur content in various food. For example, turkey breast, Brazil nuts, canned tuna. I'm curious. Fresh tuna, okay, or canned tuna, okay. Swiss cheese, diced, canned green peas, egg, dried peaches, sweet potatoes, roasted potatoes, something like this, and those are rich in sulfur. Okay, let's go to next. And magnesium. Approximately 60% of magnesium in the human body is stored in the skeleton. Making up about 1% of the mineralized bone tissue. It's okay. And magnesium is not an integral part of the hard mineral crystal, but it does reside on the surface and the crystal and helps maximize the bone structure. So it's important. Okay. And observational studies linked magnesium deficiency with increased risk of osteoporosis, and it means your bones, especially aged women, their bones becomes empty because lacking enough calcium. A magnesium deficiency diet is associated with the decrease of level of parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid is here. The kind of gland, the hormone gland here. And the activation of vitamin D. But generally, the doctor warns people do not over intake vitamin D with calcium. But generally, the vitamin D will increase the intake of calcium. So if you have question, ask your doctor. But when you go to the doctor in Taiwan, that's cheaper than the US. Okay, which may lead to an important of bone remodeling. Sorry, one more minute. A study in 900 elderly women and men did show the higher dietary intake of magnesium correlated to an increase of BMD in the hip. But only few clinical trials has evaluated the effect of magnesium supplements of bone health, and their results suggest some modest benefit on BMD. My suggestion is later we will see actually where we can eat more magnesium. Vegetable, because the chlorophyll, the magnesium in the chlorophyll, we can intake more vegetable, green vegetables. We can eat more calcium, more magnesium. And it's rare to hear about the magnesium deficiency. So don't worry. Okay, let's take a break then. See you next week. Any question, please let me know.